Good morning, ukulele players. I was just on the Solo Ukulele Facebook page and noticed a post where there was a bit of confusion about a low C and a low G string, and how you could put a low G string on your ukulele and not like it as much as a low G string, which is fair. It might be that you just don't like it as much, but there might be something you haven't considered. Let me explain. Go down, good boy. So, two ukuleles here. This one has a low C string, which is wound, and the rest are carbon fibre. And this one has a low G string, and the rest are wound. They're also carbon fibre. If you've got the ukulele with the low C string, and you play a C major chord, it's the people's chord, you'll notice that the lowest note you're playing, the lowest pitch, is a C, which makes a lot of sense. Because when you play a C major chord, the first note, the third note, the fifth note, and the octave, the 1, 3, 5 of the major scale, and then another one because you've got 4 strings, sounds really good and really strong because C is the lowest note, and we call that the root inversion. Now if I was to play an F, C is also the lowest note. We've got the first, the third, the fifth of the F major triad, but the lowest note's a C, and the C is the fifth note of the F major scale, which means it's in the second inversion. It would be nice if we called it the fifth inversion, but it didn't work out that way. Now if I was to play an A major, then the lowest note we're going to play is a C sharp, which is the third note of A major. And so it doesn't sound half as strong with a third note on the bass. We call that the first inversion. So if you play a C, the lowest note's a C, first of C major triad, root inversion, sturdy as can be. If you play an F, the lowest note's a C, it's the fifth note of the C major scale, it's called the second inversion. And bass players will play a fifth note underneath an F chord. But when we get to that A chord, it's a bit dodgy right there because the lowest note is the third, and it sounds a bit precarious. And we can get away with this. Play a C here, root inversion, play a C like this, and then the third note is lowest, and play a C like this, and the fifth note is lowest. So we can change the inversion as we're playing the ukulele. But now I'm going to swap to the low G string. Playing that C chord doesn't hang the same because the lowest note is a G. We're still playing the first, the third, and the fifth of C major. It's still a C major, but the inversion's changed. Hang on, darling, in a minute. The inversion's changed because the fifth note is on the bass. And if I play an F, then the lowest note is an A, which is the third note. So the inversion's weird. But if I play an A, oh yeah, we've got an A on the bass there. Boom, there it is. That chord feels like home. It feels really sturdy. And of course, we can do the same inversions anywhere you fancy up and down the neck. So when you change the lowest string, you change the inversion of the chords, and it gives the chords a different hang. Now, long story short, and feel free to disagree with me on this, if you're playing in C major, play a ukulele with C as the bass string. Or if you're playing in G major, play a ukulele with a G as the bass string. Or if you want to get really fancy about it, look at the inversions and where you want the bass line in the chord, if you want to get really fancy about it. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please do get in touch. I'm tom@tomthepom.com. I legitimately love teaching. So if anyone from around the world got in touch and said, I don't understand, I would be stoked. So greetings from Australia. I hope that makes sense. Please do get in touch. It's Tom the Pom, and keep strumming. Now wash your hands.